Hi, Bushido. Okay. Greetings, October. How are you today? Overall, I'm okay. I'm a little more frustrated because I was off on a specific day and work now has me fixing mistakes from those days. And I'm like, this isn't funny, guys. They thought it was funny. How are y'all doing? Yeah, it was very annoying because it's just like, oh, this error. Okay. What day is this? Oh, you know the day that you were off? And I was like, I don't like y'all. And so I was like, you know what? That's a tomorrow stuff problem. Doing good. I'm glad you're doing good. Okay, so this is Twice Reborn. Work sucks ass. Yeah, big mood. I won this game back in spring? Yeah, probably. And the rule was if I win the game, I have to stream it. So, let's try to be on our best behavior. Thank you for that. And this is going to be completely blind. Like, I know almost nothing of this game, except for its vampire game, and supposedly, it's fully voiced. So let's check out the options.
Hello there.
So full screen window, skip. Okay, back to normal stuff. Wait, why are we behaving? Because this is a game that I won, and the rule was that if I win it, I have to stream it. So which means I'm going to be showing this game to the mods. Or not to the mods, but to the devs of this game. That's why we have to be semi on a good behavior. Most respect. Sounds good. Alright, let's start this up. So don't ask me what this game is about because I don't know. New Year's Eve 1999, okay? Right before Y2K. We're in like a blockbuster. No, this is like a Hollywood video. A teenager quickly steps inside, walks directly to the aisle she wanted, and grabs an action film and places a DVD in front of the clerk.
That'll be $3.49.
Is the volume okay for y'all? Because I know I just had to raise it on my headset. This looks like a Hollywood video. You cannot convince me otherwise. Damien stood behind the counter of the video rental store and waited for his 53rd customer that day to count her change. She smacked her gum. He squinted his black-lined eyes when she didn't place the money on the counter. Shaking her head, her large hoop earrings jangled.
It's getting expensive here.
Dude, like, no lie, I remember, only because Hollywood Video was closer than Blockbuster, going to Hollywood Video and, like, begging my parents, be like, please, 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 please. Like, for reference, how close they were. Hollywood Video was where HEB was, and that was, like, 3 minutes of a drive, if that, versus Blockbuster was a 5-minute drive. So we would go to Hollywood Video more than Blockbuster, just out of convenience. Damien sighs and looked at the clock. 30 more minutes until shift ended.
We have the VHS version. It's cheaper.
Oh my gosh!
I'm sure. If I wanted a VHS, I would have gotten one, pendejo.
Hi, twin! Okay. I didn't know we were in Texas. Red says I must behave. No more sounds. Oh. I don't know the way this game's going because it already said pendejo. I might have to be like, okay, maybe we can not be Ahsoka. Rolling her eyes, she paid and swiped the rental from the counter before striding away. What? Are we on the west side now? I didn't know we were on the west side. Someone's gonna hit me and be like, Steph, that's rude. I think I like had a crush on a guy who looked very similar to this. Finally, he was alone. 30 minutes into the next millennium, maybe if he was lucky, Y2K, the blackout from all the computers, would shut down the damn place. Based on how the news was reporting, everyone expected it. Thank you for the hydrate, Morbius. It's not rude when it's accurate. Thank you for the hydrate. Okay. I'm already liking this game so far. Breathe, Steph! Yes, I already had to use my inhaler today, so my lungs aren't working the best. It was always the same work stacking shelves and checking out customers. He missed it when he had time for himself. Mood. This was one of the few businesses in town open so late. So always had the misfits, the stranglers, the late night date crowds, and the rest of the small town was quiet. He couldn't care less. His life wasn't going to change in 15 minutes. Nothing new had happened in this town. It was 3 years ago since he graduated high school, and he still had the same job. Ow! Pressing play on his CD player, he flipped through an open guitar magazine he kept next to his register. His mind wandered. So he's money! He's got money! Actually, no. When did I get my first CD player? I don't remember. Thank you for the head pats. I remember having a CD player in high school. Which is 4 years from here. And I remember having a Walkman. I don't remember when I had my first CD player. I'm not going to keep continuing because otherwise my chat's going to be like, Steph, don't make us feel old. The door chimed and a tall man walked in. Damien recognized him on sight, another loner like him. Ricky came into town months ago. Damien sometimes joined the Wanderer for a cigarette after work because he had nothing better to do.
FBI, open up!
Even that night, Ricky wore an outfit that looked like he stepped out from a greaser movie. Damien never understood his obsession with the vintage goods. Ricky was a little odd, but so was he. Okay, but like, low-key, why does Ricky look like Punk in the Tub? Like, just a smidge.
What's up? Happy Millennium. Are you gonna watch the fireworks?
Oh, okay. So, oops, sorry, ma'am. That's probably what they meant, that it's fully voiced. That the lines themselves are gonna be fully voiced. So I'll just have to read in between. Hey, this might work out for Steph's voice.
Nah, I'm heading out. It's time for me to be leaving. Happy 2000, man.
Damien's stomach sank. Ricky was planning to move on to the next place. He had been talking about it for days.
Where are you going?
I'm skipping this Loserville. Wanted to stop and say goodbye.
I get it. Call me when you get to the next stop.
All right, te juro, like 100%, I promise, I swear, I had a crush like on a guy named Damien. Yeah, Steph can talk. Thank you for the head pats. A grin stretched on Ricky's face.
Don't worry. I'll make sure to keep in touch. Life's too short to stay in one place. There's a fresh 1,000 years waiting out there. Gotta experience it. I know. Let's do something to celebrate. No one's gonna come in this late. It's good timing.
You say that. You absolutely say that. But I know people on the west side. They're gonna show up at like last minute.
I can't go smoke if that's what you're thinking. Shift's almost up, and I have a date with Chenshu.
I was thinking of getting something to eat.
But the only place that's open tonight is the Chinese restaurant on Main Street.
Ricky's usual I don't give a shit grin was gone, and he walked up to the counter, and Jamin felt a chill. Steph calling me out, man. Exactly. We're going to be comfortable level of roasting each other in this game.
Who wants Chinese? I have something extra fresh in mind.
Sir, I don't want what you're offering. I'm flattered that you think. Very well played, very appropriate. Welcome in. How are you doing today?
Wait, what?
Sharp teeth broke Damien's flesh. Good, how are you? I'm better now that I'm here with y'all. Y'all always make my days better. I was saying earlier, I was like, work had me fix up a whole bunch of things from a day that I was off. And I was like, oh, A, I'm proud of y'all for not calling me on this day off. And B, why do I have to fix everything? His body slammed into a cabinet. Damien punched Ricky in the side. As he pulled back for a second punch, his arm was grabbed by Ricky. Fingers bruised. Damien, as his arms were forced to his side. All right, everyone, get your cameras out. Let's record this. We're going to record this the right way. Ricky bit again.
But no, you freak! What are you?
Ricky's eyes shone with an eerie light. He pulled away from Damien. His crimson-stained lips formed a grotesque smile as he bitterly laughed.
Pete. No, man. You'll understand soon.
Ricky's breath reeked of copper. Damien winced as he dropped to the floor with a thud. Ricky laughed as he left the video store, his soft words echoing in Damien's mind. I thought for a moment Ricky was also going to take some snacks as well.
To the new millennium.
Right? Just... Okay, so far this is very interesting. Falling New Year's balloons danced on the video store's monitor as another time zone celebrated Y2K. A newscaster proudly boasted that a massive computer crash that I was expected hadn't happened anywhere in the world. People celebrated the new day and danced in the streets, but it was quiet in videos and video games to go. That's a weird thing to think that like we had Y2K and then all the dumpster fire that happened in the 2000s. Maybe only because I was born in the late 1900s and I can live through small nostalgic eyes. Man, these 2000s are wild. The door swung open and a teen wearing a skirt. Oh, that's a short skirt. Ooh, and I even have new eyes on. Enter the store. Oh, shit.
Sweetie, where are you? You were late picking me up.
She's cute, though. After a glance on the counter, she knew no one was there. Zensu became distracted as her eyes scanned the colorful rows of neatly shelved movie boxes. Browsing the selection, she picked up a film title from the shelf before returning it. It's too quiet. As much as Damien hated his job, he would never leave the lights on and the entrance unlocked. He hadn't better forgotten about their date. Oh, and we can, like, do this. Ooh, okay. We're gonna walk around. She walks between shelves, looking down the aisles for her boyfriend. She crosses empty spaces after empty space. She walks towards the register. Damien's magazine and CD player was out on the counter, but he was nowhere nearby. Ooh, this. You know what? This already fits into the genre of like visual novels that include murder. We're only what? Not even 20 minutes in. We already have our murder. Her shoes squished down into the carpet. With a frown, she looked down. Large spots of blood stained the carpet around her toes. Oh, okay. So if memory serves correctly, Blockbuster had carpet and Hollywood Video had tile floors. This is interesting. Tiptoeing through the blood, she stepped around the counter and prayed her boyfriend wasn't dead.
Damien!
No one was there. Her heart pounded. What if the attacker was still inside? She ran to the front of the door. She reached the doors, but they were locked. She pulled against them, pounded her small fist against the glass.
Help! Somebody!
Her hands...
I'm in.
Yes, we are indeed in danger. She shook her hand. Her hands shook as she pulled out her flipped open keypad cell phone to call 911. A calm voice came from behind her.
I'm right here.
That would scare the living daylights out of me. I would not be responsible if I accidentally punched.
You should watch what you say, Honorary Knight.
I watched what I said because mentally I would have said another word, but I'm trying to be good. What? Two arms grabbed her from behind. Then she dropped her phone. A sharp pain came as she felt her life fading away. Tiny. Be a gremlin. Don't be good. Be a gremlin.
FBI, open up!
Y'all! Remember, I'm going to try to send this to the mods. I'm going to send this to the devs of this game. We're going to take this to PG-13 at least. T.A. Mark Delaware ran past a no standing on the grass sign as he bypassed sprinklers, leapt over a hedge, and landed in a patch of freshly dug dirt. He muttered as he ran with his collared shirt half tucked in and his hair half brushed. Mark tore a bite of the bagel before stuffing it in his mouth. Okay, ready. Bread. The bells of St. George's University echoed and Mark cursed. Okay, but like low-key, Mark looks very good. Picking up his pace, he waved to the groundsman as he turned a corner and nearly crashed into one of the Catholic institution's blue-robed monks. He shook his head in quiet disapproval.
Sorry, Brother Luke. I'll see you later in French.
Mark held up his hand in an apology, sidestepped him, and entered into the history building. With a strong stride, he approached the double doors of the auditorium. He paused. Behind those heavy doors was Professor Michelson's Ancient Civilizations class filled with 500 underclassmen. At a glance, his watch told him that he was 10 minutes late. Bruh! You're the TA and you're 10 minutes late? Ha! I should not be in trouble if I'm late. He finished chewing his bite of bagel and took a deep breath and opened the door. I love you all. Y'all are beautiful. Never change. Professor Steve Michelson looked up from the lectern. That's perfect. And narrowed his eyes at his teaching assistant. Without missing a beat in his lesson, his booming voice continued at the advancements of the ancient Roman housing. Professor George, you know what? Legit, I would believe it. Especially with the older JoJo's. 100%, I could believe it. Mark didn't miss the look. His dude-covered canvas shoes squeaked as he looked into— No! You're just gonna be like, I'm trying to sneak, and it's not helping. I don't know if y'all have seen the TikTok of this dude like trying to do something early in the morning, and the house betrays them. Like they make all these noises. That's how it feels like right now. He knew he was going to get a lecture on class after class on punctuality. Bro, you're 10 minutes late. A sweet voice whispered at his side.
You're late again.
Jody helps with auditing Professor Michelson's class that semester. Whenever the professor was talking animatedly about his past, she intensely listened. She leaned forward and furiously typed notes on her laptop. Her varied expressions are what Mark found charming. She opened the new window on the laptop with its touch screen, and she began to doodle. Mark wondered what she could be up to. She tossed her blonde hair over her shoulder as she pouted in concentration. Bruh, I remember being in college, and I had some professors who were just like, I needed to write like the wind. So when people would be like, hey, Steph, can I see your notes? About that. Are you sure you really want to see my notes? Thank you for the Tato abuse. And they're like, yeah, your notes can't be that bad. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, they really are. And so I'd have to give them a rewritten version of my notes because it'd be a scribble. It'd be like something circled that says, remember the Alamo. Like, what about the Alamo do I need to remember?
You should have studied hard.
Yeah, I probably should have. I remember I think it was government. It had to be government. Final exam, giving us a note card. We can put whatever notes we want. Bruh, when I tell y'all, I wrote teeny tiny. And I was like, I was going in there with my notes and I was like, yes. Notes say yes. I passed. 100% I passed. That was definitely one of those of like, notes. Thank you for the self-care. I will get up, fix my posture, and hydrate. How are you today, Scarlett? I hope all of you are well. And I'm not going to be the only one who's going to be doing a self-care because we're in equal opportunity bullying here.
I'm in danger.
So. Okay. I have stretched. And I've hydrated. Mark's eyes followed her movement and started to look at her follow her movements and started to look at her pale pink sweater. She was so focused she didn't even notice his gaze. Trying to sleep, but all that went to shit after I just full long sleep and just had that feeling that I'm falling. Oh no! Joy slid the screen towards Mark. Well, as long as you're here, we're happy to have you here. But if you stay until the end of the stream, I'm going to be a little bit mad at you. Because your sleep's more important. He had to slap over his mouth to keep his from bursting out in laughter in the middle of class. What's the meme? What's the meme? There on screen was a caricature of the professor as a dragon with fire coming out of his mouth. A small mark that was getting hit by the flames. Falling, not falling. It's my fault. Sleep doesn't want to sleep. That's fine.
I wouldn't lose. A knight always defeats the dragon.
Oh, cocky much? Jody rolled her eyes. Mark squirmed in his seat. As he did, he felt the cold squish of mud between his toes. But behind him was a trail of muddy footprints down the carpet to his seat. Jody followed his gaze. His mouth popped open in surprise. I'm in fucking bed trying to sleep, so like, it's up to sleep, right?
Mark, ever heard of wiping your feet?
Dude, yes. Mark turned his attention to the professor and wondered if he had also seen the mess. However, the professor was completely involved in the story. Also cocky, you say. Oh, yes. In the hushed auditorium, students were drawn towards him, and his eyes and ears looked to his every word and expression. Despite Professor Michelson's nerdy look of a tweed jacket and bow ties, he wasn't an awkward man. His words invoked an unexpected, powerful charisma. He drove into tales of ancient Rome or the Middle Ages, as if he knew what it was like to once live then. Because he'd made class fun, the class packed room students like him no matter how much they challenged him, because he probably lived through that. I want to punch the professor. I want to take the professor's clothes. Like, I want to take his style. I don't know why. Professor Michelson was one of the most respected instructors at the university. There were rumors of the professor's age, that he'd been teaching at St. George for 20 years. However, the academic looked at his late 30s. His brown brushed back hair had moments of white. So he's Hispanic. His keen eyes never missed a student out of place. Mark reached over to Jody's laptop and pulled up a new screen. Jody looked surprised. He wrote, "Want to go out?" Damn! Me, I want to punch him. Steph, I want to steal his clothes. I really do. Like, I think I could pull it off. Sounds like we should work together, Steph. Shh. Maybe we just don't want to let the professor know. And Mark is straight up just asking
I'm in danger.
asking someone in class. No, you're not in danger. Maybe.
Yeah, sounds good.
A girl accepted in class. Mike typed Friday lunch at Dave's Diner. Or Dive's Diner? Judy nodded yes. Mark beamed. Oh. How are we going to do this? Mark thinks she might be a good girlfriend, although Mark didn't want to admit it. He was serious about her. So are you alone today, or someone hiding in call with you? No, today is me all by myself. So I will play until I feel my voice kind of giving out on me. I wasn't feeling 100% this morning, that I was kind of thinking. She has noodles on her head, right? I know they're trying to give her like wavy kind of curly hair, but it really does look like noodles. I feel like now she has like ramen noodles. But I wasn't feeling so good this morning that I was like, no, maybe I'm going to cancel today's stream. Thank you for the self-care. So we'll go until I don't feel like I can go any further. And then pause and go from there. Because like I said, I don't know how long the routes are. So I'm not going to make the mistake like I did with Hooked on You. And that route was like almost 7 hours. Or if y'all want to be technical, it was 6.5. I had a friend actually clock me on that route. And he's like, it's technically 6.5. And I was like, it's 7 hours for argument's sake.
That concludes our section on ancient Roman housing. Make sure you read the readings. Oh, and Mr. Mark Delaware.
Thank you for that.
I will speak with you after class.
Scarlett, do your worst. Students' heckles came from somewhere in the hall as Mark sunk down in his seat. It was no good for the teacher's assistant to be the one to call to the front. Mark knew that the professor's lectures almost by heart, and maybe he should have at least acted more like he was focused on his mentor. Jody gave a big smile and winked to Mark before skipping out to the door. Okay, so close. I go lurk. Okay, go lurk. Go take care of yourself and you sleep. Good night, sweet dreams. I love you. Sure, she didn't have to listen to Michelson. Mark reluctantly waved goodbye and then mingled with a mass of students making their way out of the auditorium. And actually, if y'all actually get 69, it does it automatically. Professor Michelson gave a short answer to the small line of them who lingered behind. A few of them were known to Mark. Desperate to make an A, they'd ask 1,000 questions or try to beg for extra credit, a tactic that never worked. Others in line were ladies who had a crush on the professor. Mark had already heard them say that Michelson was mysterious, hot, and sexy. Why would they be so interested in a man who spent his days reading in a basement office? After 10 minutes of answering questions, Professor Michelson finally shuffled his students out of the doorway. Mark wondered if he had long or short lecture this time. He cleared his throat to get Michelson's attention.
Yes, sir?
Professor Michelson paused before answering.
Mark, 4 years ago, you were the only freshman out of 5 students who got an A in my largest class. By some miracle, you're still on the dean's list. Yet your timeliness has not improved since the day you enrolled.
Okay, so Mark is really smart. Because that means his class must be hard. With a slow shake of his head, he made his way around the lecture pupil and off the platform. Mark started to protest, but realized he better keep his mouth shut. Adjusting his backpack over his shoulder, the TA followed as Michelson continued speaking.
Come with me. We must speak. I know you don't have class with Brother Luke today until 10, so we should have some time.
Oh no, it's bad when you...
You expect we'll need that long?
Michelson only replied with a frown. Mark nodded. Mark quickly nodded. Brother Luke... Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! I love y'all. Brother Luke taught him French in the morning. Along with French, Mark was quick to also pick up Russian, Greek. Languages fed his soul, and he would spend hours getting lost in their study. There was one reason why history fascinated Mark. He would love to be able to read the primary source of documents as they were meant to be read. Okay, legit, like 100% legit, I feel that. I remember having this conversation with someone of, if I could be anywhere in the world and I had special powers, I would love to read the original Bible. Like, get me through the Vatican's vast security. Let me read the Bible in its original language. That would be a really cool goal. Okay, Mark had to admit it. He was a bit of a nerd. Looking at his watch to double check what the professor said, he saw that there was plenty of time to speak with Professor Michelson and still grab a coffee before the brothers' class. As they left the auditorium, Mark saw the damage his canvas sneakers left behind. Thank you. A galaxy of dirt prints decorated the polished wood floor. He closed his eyes in hope Professor Michelson didn't see the evidence. The older man did and gave Mark a knowing smile. Instead of crossing the muck and walking through the crucifix-topped main doors, the professor led the way out a side passage. Thank you for the head pats. Head pats for the VTuber. It was a perfect North Colorado day. The skies were clear, and it was a constant 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The beautiful campus was quiet, far from drudging traffic and lost tourists. A guitarist plucked at acoustic strings, and as he sat on a blanket beneath one of the many stone statues placed around campus, Michelson kept his shade as he avoided stepping on the students stretching themselves on the sidewalks and sleeping on pine shade grass. A few broke campus rules and smoked on the lawn. The grassy scent overpowered the fresh air. Mark coughed and picked up his pace. The professor frowned at the students but continued to lead the way. A few buildings later, they arrived at Michelson's office. Unlike the other faculty with tenure, Michelson never took an office with a large window. He cramped office in the basement of the faculty building and had a small window near the ceiling with thick, short curtains that blocked out enough sunlight. Despite its basement location, his office was elegant evidence of the older building's architecture. The room was framed by floor-length bookshelves which had the knowledge of centuries. An antique lamp that sat on the table in the corner of the room. Michelson turned the small lamp and crossed the wooden floors and sat behind his desk while Mark took a seat across from him. Mark smoothed out his collared shirt and ran his hands through his disheveled hair, shuffled uneasily and accidentally bumping the desk. A file fluttered towards the floor. Before Mark could reach, his mentor shot his hand out and snatched the file mid-air before it touched the ground. Dang! But though, I guess if you have immortal powers, you have time to work on your balance and cool party tricks. The professor returned the file on the desk.
How are the students in your study session? Is everything going all right? What are they asking the most?
That's good knowledge to know. He leaned back in his chair and peeked his hands together in front of him.
They're doing well. A quarter doesn't show, but I don't blame them. It's not like attendance is required.
They should show and attend to their grades.
Mark ignored his quip.
There were some questions about the ancient Roman trade routes from the last lecture.
Yes, I wasn't able to go over that very well. We ran out of time.
I love their dynamic. The fact that hey, I'm going to sit with you and I want you to be better, but also at the same time, hey, you're my TA. What kind of questions are they asking?
I was able to explain it.
They understood.
I hope so. They didn't ask me any other questions after class.
Dang, I love this relationship already. Professor Michelson nodded, and after a moment, he began to flip through a stack of campus mail piled on top of his desk.
You're graduating this semester. Are you ready?
He knew the professor was talking about something besides graduation. The professor wanted Mark to start a career under his guidance of the most powerful art patrons in the city. They sponsored orchestras, talented painters, and actors. It's a cult. They'd been looking for a translator, and Mark had been recommended. If he accepted, he would participate in their art negotiations. Mark pierced his lips. On one hand, the influential group would open many opportunities. On the other hand, they were secretive.
I want you to meet the Society of the Arts before you walk. We will meet this Friday at 5 o'clock.
So soon? I thought we'd meet after graduation. I have a date with Jody this Friday.
She can come along. Michelson stopped looking at the mail and shot Mark an annoyed stare. Curt words came next.
Cancel it.
Wow! I'm almost tempted to retract my previous statement. His expression softened with a smile.
I mean, you're not in love with her, right? You told me yourself that she was just a friend.
Oh. Nope, we're going to keep going.
This is your future. I made sure that the whole society was going to be at this meeting. And not everyone consistently arrives to their functions, as you showed us well this morning.
Damn, come at me. Mark's cheeks reddened. Oh. We have to decide now. Can I? Okay, that's a log.
Hold it!
Right? Can I save? Okay, we can save. This is good because some games we can't save here at the choice scene. We can only save prior to that. And 12 pages of... Ooh, okay. Oh, and we can check relationship status. Interesting. Interesting. So status alliance, enforcer, House of Skulls, humanity, Jody, twins, Johnny, Ricky, and bloodlust. Ooh, this is exciting. Remember, this is me going blind, so me clicking these things is the same with y'all. No. Okay. Chat. Do we accept the interview? Or do we go find work elsewhere? Oh my gosh. I'm going to let y'all decide this. Job. Take work. Accept it. Got it. We're going to accept the job. I did save, so we can backtrack this.
Okay, fine.
Just fine. Once you meet these people, your life will change forever. You're great with languages, Mark. You've successfully taken 3 of them here. This is not an easy college to succeed in, and you've made it.
Thanks, Professor. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'll reschedule my date.
Like, the professor's just like, boy, you may have some time issues, but you're talented. I'm trying to look out for you. And I can respect that. I really can.
I figured you would. Now, get going. Go outside and enjoy some sunshine before your next class.
Oh. Slapping Mark on the back, he sent him from his office. As Mark turned the corner to leave, he noticed the professor's smile vanish. His eyes turned sad as he watched Mark leave. 'Cause you'll never get the date with Jody? Also, there's an irony of a professor working in a Catholic university. Though the midnight campus of a sophomore student walks her dorms with her biology books tucked in her arms, it was the half moon and the flickering streetlights shone quivering dim lights. The campus was quiet and only students holed up in the library.
Trapdoor! Trapdoor was a man. I mean, he was a dragon man. I mean, he was just a dragon. But he was still Trapdoor! Burninating the countryside, burninating the peasants, burninating all the people in the thatched roof cottages! Thatched roof cottages! And the trapdoor comes in the night!
Thank you for that. I see it. Thank you. Yeah, we're walking this dark aisle and now it's Trogdor that's coming in. We hear his theme song. She cursed at herself for being stupid. She hung out in her boyfriend's dorm room studying until the resident assistant kicked her out. The campus buses didn't make their rounds past 10 and her jerk of a boyfriend didn't bother to walk her back, making a pathetic excuse about morning classes. Bruh, really? You're not gonna walk her back? What an ass. She didn't mind the historical buildings and the beautiful bending trees. However, at night, their large shapes cast deep shadows blanketing the campus. She glanced the occasional dim yellow lights in the building's entryway. Her footsteps echoed as her shoes clicked against the sidewalk. Okay, that did not sound like a twig snap. I was about to be like, wait, did I have a belt sound? She gasped, turning around. Her eyes darted towards the noise. Girl, don't run towards the noise. A cat ran into the bushes. Kyndra laughed at herself. As she turned around, she walked into a man with a green mohawk. He grabbed her arm as she stammered. Wait, what?
Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there.
Oh, no.
That's okay with me. A little fear gets the blood pumping.
No!
FBI, open up!
He tightened his grip. As his expression changed to something tinged with malice, a cruel smile slowly spread across his face. She opened her mouth to scream. Slapping his freezing hand over her mouth, her scream turned into a muffled squeak. Dragging her into the shadows, he threw her down to the ground. Okay! This is now a content warning. If this makes you uncomfortable, please leave. I want you to be safe, and I understand. But, yeah, I'm going to put on a commercial, so it's a 30 seconds, so that you can decide if you want to continue. This is my warning. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're just gonna let that be for a moment, and oh my gosh. Gonna make chat hydrate. Okay, I think that's about 30 seconds. She couldn't see him well, but she felt him puncture her neck. Blood dripped on her chest. Kyndra panicked. Thank you. You're welcome. I look out for y'all. I love y'all dearly. I'm going to make sure to... Ooh. Pushing from him, she tried to run away. He shot out his arm, grabbing her wrist and pulling her towards him. Weakened, she slumped and began to suck her neck.
Do you recognize me, little mouse? A bird told us that you were spilling secrets about the skulls. I don't mind people having fun in our club, but what happens there stays there.
The young woman froze in disbelief. Her hope quickly fizzled from hope to shock, then resignation. Co-ed knew she wouldn't survive. Oh my gosh, that kind of went from 0 to 60 really fast. Sweat pooled on Mark's brow as he changed out of his drenched judo robes. His legs were starting to cramp, and Mark was ready for a break. While he was on the team, he enjoyed working out with the group. However, his day wasn't done. A stack of term papers were waiting to be graded back in his room. He planned to start them after a power nap. Reaching for his dorm doorknob, Mark's hand pulled away a covered, sticky, gooey mess. Cringing, he sniffed his fingers. Hair paste. It could have been worse. He had checked the doors across the hall. The same. A pair of twins which shared the room next door to Mark had a knack for being pranksters. They would tie doorknobs together with water balloon traps in the restroom, plastered the halls with faces of friends of the bodies of the female models. St. Ignace dorm would have placed them on cleanup duty for any pranks, but that didn't stop the brothers. Mark wondered what they were doing. It was weird that he didn't see them for a few days. If anything, it was a miracle he could avoid them at all, but he still considered them his friends. Night passed and Mark stayed awake, grading papers. Raccoon circles colored his lowered eyes. He needed to sleep. No, he had to stay awake. He listened to the noise of the hallway. Mark's dorm, St. Ignatius, was crowded. Dorm life was busy. An all-guide dorm in the middle of a private Catholic St. George University. The rules inside were strictly as the monastery. No women, no drinks allowed, but the dorm members still managed to have some fun in between studying, whoever actually did study. A calculus-caused nervous breakdown had forced Mark's former neat freak roommate to move out 3 weeks ago. He left a note saying, "I can't do this shit anymore. Good luck, buddy," on his empty bed pillow. This left Mark as the only guy on his floor to have his own room. At first he thought it'd be great to have the dorm to himself, peace and quiet. Yeah, right. His neighbors made up for that lack of a roomie. No word from them still. Mark thought to himself he had stopped by the residence assistant's office and asked where his neighbor were. 3 days would pass since Kyle and his twin brother, Nate, the twin kings of trouble, had come home. Mark had welcomed the peace, but the quiet wasn't always a good sign. The red digital lights of his alarm clock showed it was an early morning when Mark finally finished grading. His head nodded as his eyelids drooped. Finally, he closed his eyes and let sleep take him away from his dreams of Jody. A body slammed against the other side of his wall, followed by cussing, shouting, and stomping. A body slammed against the other side of his wall, followed by cursing, shouting, and stomping. His neighbors Nate and Kyle were home. I wonder who's the older twin, Kyle or Nate? Mark kicked the 1950s-style concrete wall that separated them.
Glad you jerks are back, but I need to sleep!
Kyle's voice hollered back.
Sorry, Mark.
The twins at least can apologize. That apology didn't last long. Kyle started singing off tune, probably to annoy Nate. The twins were always bickering. Mark figured it was because the brothers were so close. Despite their butting heads, they insisted on living together. Mark once asked Kyle why. Kyle answered, "Because I don't want to learn another person's habits." That's very relatable.
I'm in danger.
And a very well appropriate timed sound. Two of them reminded Mark of a grumpy old couple. Mark sighed and tried to slink to his bed. Oh, that was a phone! I was like, what was going on? Oh, his alarm radio snapped on. So much for any rest. A news report of a murdered student came on the campus station. Mark turned the volume louder. No way, he muttered to himself as he heard the gritty details of the woman's death. The murderer had not been caught. Mark dragged himself to slink and washed his face. He had hoped that Judy was watching out for herself. This has not been the first murder on campus. The last one was a few months ago. The sorority girl's body was badly slashed. Oh. Sliding on his legs, Mark's half-buttoned collared shirt gave a few random brushes to his hair and quickly gargled. He stuffed grade essays into his duffel bag and slammed the door to his empty room. The loud bang finally made Nate and Kyle stop arguing. The twins were waiting for him on the other side of the door. Kyle grinned as they stepped in front of Mark, blocking his escape. Kyle stepped inside Mark's room, a grumpy Nate on his heels. Bruh, I didn't invite you.
You mad, Mark?
He stared at Mark's pale face and etched with deep, dark circles.
What do you think? You're still doing this stuff before morning. Remember Monday when you stole all the toilet paper from the restrooms? We had none all week because you also TP'd the head RA's office. But you weren't here this week, so I guess you didn't know that.
What about last month? That stink bomb in the air vent was pretty good.
And extra smelly.
It was awful. It was in my nostrils and my clothes. No wonder Jody stayed away. Where have you been? It's been 3 days since you both called anyone. We were worried. Never mind. I haven't slept. I swear, if Jody refuses to go out with me because I look like a zombie, I'll come back here and eat your brain!
Hi, Cabbage. Hello, beautiful people.
Don't bother. Kyle doesn't have any.
Damn! Company, see you later. Good luck, Morbius. I need someone to clip that. For reasons. I mean, no, not for reasons. I don't know if this is the vampire visual novel is very interesting because I told everyone to be on their best behavior, and then the game itself is like pendejo, and I was like, JK, this game's coming at itself. So it's very interesting. I love the fact that it's fully voiced, so I don't have to strain my voice. We all know the reasons you want that clip. Yes. So I don't know if it's a dating sim, but it's definitely a really good visual novel so far. You can tell a lot of love has gone into this. Thank you for the hydrate. No dying, Gremlin. I am trying. I had to use my inhaler today, so my lungs are not working, kinda, already. So, and I don't know how long I'm gonna go, because I was already not feeling so good. But I was like, oh, maybe I should cancel today's stream. And I was like, no, we're gonna power through this. I want to get through this. I've been talking about this forever. And I'm sure y'all have already enjoyed this. I appreciate the head pat. Nate chuckled and Kyle gave him a quick punch to the arm. I promise I am taking care of myself. I have a Sprite. I've been hydrating. But I also have to kind of keep an eye on myself, because if I use my inhaler, that already says that my lungs are not in good standing. And it's allergy season, so I don't need like a bad allergy attack to be like, hey, guess what? Now you have an asthma attack. I don't want to go to the med clinic again for them to be like, why did you get this bad? I don't need that again. Nate shuffled. There were red punches on his wrist. What happened there? It's none of Mark's business. Ooh. What happened?
What happened there?
Oh, excuse me. Nate slid his tennis cuff down and hit the marks on his wrist. He eyed Marks to make sure he didn't notice his move. Did he just try to commit? Hold on, let me read that again. There were red punctures on his wrist. Punctures as in like blood, like vampire biting? Or punctures as in scars? Oh. I'm leaving now. Yeah, that's fair. I respect that. Thank you for stopping in. I love you.
Just a scratch.
That's... Ooh. That's not just a scratch, and you know it. Enforcer. Oh. Fire.
It looks bad. Maybe you should have it checked out.
The RA said you've been asking where we were. Are you worried about us? Don't be. We're just having some fun.
So what were you up to?
Nate and I thought you were too busy with graduation. You're working for that hard ass, right?
Yeah, I still work for Professor Mickelson.
Oh, I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Whoops. We have to admire him. I'm saying we admire him.
I admire him.
Humanity went up. Interesting. This is so interesting.
Did you hear about the murder last night?
Kyle and Nate gave each other a nervous glance.
No. What did you hear?
Let's hope they're caught. Do they have any leads?
Another girl was slashed. Police are wondering if we have a serial killer.
At what point do we call it a serial killing? Because we have 2 girls dead already. Within this year? School year? Yeah. Nate shriveled.
Let's get out of here. We all need a change. I know. Let's go on a road trip during spring break. Get away from cranky professors and all this death talk.
I don't know where the cereal is. Oh, I get it. Sometimes I wish I had a... Oh, wait. I know what I can do. I can give you bonk emotes.
Sounds like a plan. I'll be off then.
Yeah, I have nothing better to do with my life anyway.
That was Nate's version of an enthusiastic yes. Okay. They're students. They don't have money. So they're buying, right?
So you're buying?
No! No! I thought we were with the twins! Fuck! No! And there goes Steph's skill issues. Dave's pug was dingy and the tables wobbled whenever the customers leaned on them, raising their voices. People spoke loud to be heard over the rock blaring from bulky retro speakers. The place made the best burgers in town, and the challenge for their juicy beef burgers was long waited in their customer line. Hi, Enigma. Thank you for the self-care. Everyone in chat, self-care, please. Ah. Okay, now we gotta stretch. But I'm sore. Can I self-care by Lady Dad here? No. You're sore because you're moving muscles. And while it's good to rest, you cannot stay immobile. That's going to do more damage. The place was also known for their milkshakes. Their milkshakes were served the richest ice cream and served the way that they meant to be served. Filled with glass, with a refill delivered on the side of the metal cup. Okay, we're gonna redeem ourselves. We're gonna offer to split a milkshake. Bless you, Tata. Thank you. Mark slipped his receipt from the counter and made his way back to the booth with his book bag. Soon a waitress came back down and set down a strawberry milkshake. With 2 straws in the glass, Jody and Mark sat side by side, splitting the milkshake. He slowly stirred it with a spoon until it melted enough to drink from a straw. What up, cabbage? Mark thought the sweet drink was perfectly cold and delicious. Mark glanced at Jody, whose pale shirt flowed with her curves. A weight of anxiousness filled from Mark's shoulders as she was safe with him now. He's gonna ask about her. Jody's face lit up as she shared about her art classes. She was advancing in art classes. Mark noticed pale blue stains around her finger cuticles. When he asked about what they were from her latest project, she blushed from embarrassment. Aww!
Oh, I didn't even notice them. Yep, I've been working with oils, and right now we're painting still life. I've come a long way since we were in Art Composition 1. Are you still doing any artwork?
Oh, we do artwork? Hey, let's go. Mark answered that no, he didn't think that he could draw well. He still admired art even if he didn't have any skills. A naughty thought popped into his head. He wouldn't mind her painting him. Mark, sir.
So, how are you holding up?
Doing good. Checked in on my friend. He's doing fine for now. That's good. She shivered.
I'm not sure. I didn't know her, but it all happened so close to us. It could have happened to anyone.
That's true. Reaching out, Mark held Jody's hands and took a deep breath.
No, I won't be scared.
No, you shouldn't be.
He hit the shit out of anyone who'd lay a hand on her, but he kept that thought to himself. Aww, we should really tell her that we're gonna take this really amazing opportunity.
Is that why you wanted to meet sooner? Because you're worried about me?
No, because I'm taking this really cool opportunity and I still want to meet with you. She graced him with the most beautiful smile. Mark's heart jumped.
Yes, but I also can't make this Friday. Professor Mickelson set up an interview with the Society of the Arts.
What does this art thing have to do with you? You gave up sketching.
Thank you for the hydrate. Mark suddenly wished he was more naturally artistic. He stared at her long blonde hair, the curve of her face, and pushed away the distracting thought of what it'd be like to have Jody as his model. Paint me like one of your models. Paint me like one of your French girls. Ha ha.
The Society considers language an art. They've been looking for a translator for art deals. If they like me, I get a job with them. Or at least I'm hoping that happens when I meet them Friday.
Ugh, now you reminded me. I've been so focused on finishing up our semester, I haven't made a resume yet. I need to start looking for a job too. You'll do great, Mark. I hope you get it.
He's not dying or anything. He's dealing with college stuff abroad. Well, hopefully he does an amazing job and he... Mark placed his hand on her wrist. He had been waiting for this moment, a chance to be closer. He wasn't going to let her go with only a late peck. Mark stares deeply at her. He got this, I believe. Oh, that's so cute! Jody began to squirm in her booth, eventually looking away from Mark's intense eye contact. Their waitress walked behind the bar and lightly cleared her throat. Here's your lunch. She set the plates before them, and Jody glanced at Mark and blushed. Mark muttered things, but after she left out of earshot, Mark and Jody began talking about plans for spring break.
I'm going home to Utah.
Mark thought of an empty, cold house waiting for his return.
I'm not going home.
It's because of her, isn't it?
Her sympathetic glance passed over him. Despite the anger he'd usually felt when others gave him that look, Mark was so touched she remembered. She was compassionate, creative, and strong. He'd always remember that ever since he met her in his first art class, drawing 1305. She was working a brightly colored modern work. When he peeked over his shoulder to see what she colored with pastels, she turned to face him and didn't even bother to rub away her blue chalk smudged cheeks, as to give him the brightest smile he'd ever seen. That was the first day his crush started, and now he was finally dating his friend. Jody's eyes glistened. She knew about Mark's complicated family, but he didn't usually share. He could barely say it. He and his father stopped speaking. He's super smart. He'll make it. That's good! Mark had nothing to do with this old man who could forget his mother. Few people outside his family knew about the quick remarriage. Only Judy, the twins, and the professor knew. Interesting. He was rather stuck at St. George's University. He'd rather be stranded in I don't know why I can't speak today. Than the perdition of his father with another woman. Staying at college was no burden at all. Michelson saw that Mark had always had plenty of work to do.
I think Kyle and Nate will stay on campus. I might stay here and hang out with them instead.
He made peace with his father, but there was only so much he could take. His father's younger wife, flirtatious teasing, was not one of those things. Okay, I'm gonna go 15 more minutes, and I'm calling it for me. I can already feel myself getting stuffy.
I don't blame you, Mark. It's just so sad. But I'm glad you won't be alone. Call me, okay?
Thank you for the head pats. Would you like to go on another date?
I really enjoyed today. What do you think? Would you like to go on another date?
She nodded. Aww. You better. I will take care of myself. I promise. Look, I am getting to a stopping point in 15 minutes. And depending on who's streaming, I might send you to my parent. Ow. Although he kept it a secret for Jody, Mark had planned to go to a sorority party and play hard. It was his last semester in college, after all. Get out of here. Exiting Dive's bar, Mark walked Jody home, passing in the various thrift stores, grungy shops, and odd curiosities which filled the eccentric lines of businesses near the campus. Thank you for the self-care. Odd mix of smells from the city waved from the alleyways. Mark's nose scrunched. He hated passing by this area. No one ever cleaned the streets. An elderly homeless man sat on the smudged sidewalks outside the pub. He listlessly stretched his legs across the ground with his tattered brown trench coat tucked under his arm and an open, warm briefcase beside him. Buzzing flies floated nearby and still fingered before zipping away. I'm just gonna ignore him. I'm so sorry, sir. So, before I click it, I've had different conversations with different people on this, and I always want to get y'all's input. No. So, how do you feel about those peddlers? Because my train of thought is if they're out there selling waters or like candy apples, I'm going to give you some money. We sometimes have the fire bin that have the fill the boot. I will do that. Churches, I will do that. If they say anything helps and I have a spare snack that I have not touched, like it's unopened, like a bag of trail mix, here's the bag of trail mix. Things like that. And it's always interesting seeing different people's take on where you extend the line of let me help you out or humanity. Pity struck Mark as he watched this man, who was obviously once proud, sitting in a tattered good clothes and muttering to himself. Mark bit low and dropped... Wait, did I say ignore him? I thought I did. Entered the open briefcase, and he saw among the litter of spare change a wooden stake and a bottle of holy water. Those weren't props. The freshly sharpened stake at the top of the pile belonged in the case. Carefully, Mark slowly stepped backwards from the case, and he held his arms up to block Jody from the potential harm. Motionless, the silent man sat with outstretched legs, his eyes not quite focused on anything. The buzzing noise became louder. A fly drifted near the beggar's face. Patiently, he waited, but the fly wouldn't leave. He suddenly shot out his hand and caught the fly mid-air. With a gray smile, he let the fly go. That was enough for Mark. He didn't want to stay on this reeking street any longer. Mark grabbed Jody's arm and whispered,
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, so I have non-emergencies number in my phone for reasons. Safety reasons, but yeah. They quickly left the streets and walked towards St. George's. I need to backtrack because I could have sworn I hit ignore. Oh, it doesn't like say anything. Save things, yes. I've had to call non-emergency. The worst extreme or like the worst instance is I did not feel safe going into work. That we had to get security to watch me go inside the building. And they're like, yeah, we've got you on the main screen. I was like, thanks, guys. They're like, oh, you're probably just exaggerating. And I was like, yeah. That vehicle's been there for like 20 minutes. I don't feel safe. People are scary. They really are. The weight of his papers in his satchel reminded him that he should stop by the professor's office before he went back to his own dorm. Walking across St. George's campus, Jody and Mark neared St. George's Amphitheater. The large outdoor theater sat naturally occurring hill and almost blended into the campus landscape. Next to it was an on-campus coffee house. It was St. George's tradition to buy hot drinks and then bring them to the amphitheater. Oh, that's okay. That's good placement. Students lined outside the nearby coffee houses to buy its famous mochas, warming themselves as the night turned chilly.
Mark, let's get some coffee and catch the rest of the show.
I can't count how many times people followed my mom at stores, and then as soon as I'm in line of sight, they either back off or dip. Oh my gosh. So this is kind of relevant to that. Guy I was dating in college lived across town from me. Why is this important? Because after spending time with him, I had to drive back home. And it's one of those that there's multiple ways to get home, but there's two main highways I have to cross. The highway to get to his place and the highway to get to mine. And of course, there's the in-between highways. So because if you all don't know, I can't really drive at night. I can, but I'm a big anxious mess. So I will take the route that gives me the least amount of turns. So I'm driving, I take the roads that make sure that I won't take that long. And there's a car following me. And it's like, okay, whatever. Maybe he's going to like get off for this next exit. No. Oh, okay, maybe he's for the next exit. Whatever. Still not thinking much about it. This car practically followed me home. I got so scared that I was immediately like, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? I can't get out because that I could, but it was just not. My brain was like, oh my god, 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 oh my god. So I ended up turning into my neighborhood because he had followed me this much. Instead of going home, I went to the other side of the neighborhood, found a random house, parked my car, turned off the lights, and was just panicking. And I messaged like friends and my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm not home yet, but this is the situation. I will let you know when I get home safe. Luckily I had a friend who lived on the other side of the neighborhood, and they were very much a-okay with like, hey, I will come get you. We can move your car to your place, and you know, you can stay over and we can explain the situation to my parents. Yeah, very much not like safe. Gave me like, even now I'm like, I still remember being scared. Sorry, tangents. A steaming drink in his hand sounded nice. The lack of sleep from the night before started to catch up with him. He needed that coffee. Maybe he could spare a few minutes. St. George's outdoor shows tended to be short anyway. He wanted to be with Jody as he fought his heavy eyelids. As far as the essays were concerned, he was ahead of the professor could wait. No, thank you for the horror story. Yeah. I was okay, but it was definitely one of those of like, help. Like, I think I waited. I'm pretty sure those poor people were about to like call the cops on me to be like, there's a stranger in our parking lot. And be like, I could explain, officer. Mark texted the professor where he was, and the professor surprised him by responding, I'll be in my office. Meet me afterwards. How long did the professor work? That man never seems to sleep. I mean, if you're undead, there is a lot of things you can do. Protect the potato. On the platform before, stagehands dressed in full black quickly changed the key props on set. A familiar voice spoke. A few rows behind Mark, Kyle sat with his twin brother Nate.
Look, they're about to start again.
Good. Now we can finally see something interesting. I'm getting tired of watching all these couples making out. It's so annoying.
Nate rolled his eyes. Mark wondered if Nate was grumpy because he had never had a girlfriend. The guy needed to get over his shyness with women. Mark waved hello and then looked around. Nate was right. There was a lot of public kissing. One student was lip-locking. Wait, that geek? The lucky bastard was an engineering major from his dorm. Mark needed a page from his playbook. A throat cleared to his side. Turns into an X. And you have my X, cheeks. Whoops, Judy snagged Mark's attention away from the couple by grabbing his hand. He smiled at her and Jody returned the grin. The audience applauded with a thin actor walked out on the amphitheater floor, raising his arms and then slowly lowering them. He quieted the audience before addressing them in a commanding voice.
Thank you all for coming and welcome to our annual Classics Under the Stars. Let's introduce our actors. Our second performance tonight will be The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Applause rose from the audience. Mark Delaware knew the story well. Dorian Gray seeks immortal beauty and youth by cursing himself. While Dorian Gray remains youthful, his painted portrait reflects the sin and depravity of his aging life. As the actors played out the changes in Dorian Gray, Mark became fascinated. He imagined everything he could do if he lived a timeless life. Whoo, boy! What could he do with the gift of time? Those thoughts floated across his mind, the freedom of eternal youth, the gift of being able to study however you wanted as long as you wished. If he was immortal, he thought, I wouldn't fall like Dorian Gray. I would try to live out a good life, yes, a full life that continued on and on. Suddenly a bad vibe and chill went down Mark's back with a shiver. He felt something dangerous was close, but he didn't understand it. Slowly Mark turned around to see what was giving him the creeps. Clearly didn't get the message. Dorian ended up being a sad, empty man. So I'm going to take this moment right here to save. And we're gonna go raid my parent, because I'm not 100% that I can say that I can continue. So let me I will say the next time I will try to stream this one, because this is going to be our next visual novel, is probably going to be next Tuesday. Yes, we'll do that. Next Tuesday I will set to play Twice Reborn. I don't think I close next Tuesday. No, I open, but oh no, I lied to you. Maybe. Next Tuesday is my mom's birthday. I might stream, I may not, but we're gonna go raid Ash, who is my VTuber parent. They're amazing, they're talented, they're playing Overwatch right now. I'm going to lay down. I thank you everyone for stopping by and being here as we get to experience this all together. I love you all. I will see you later. But yeah, let's go have fun watching Ash play Overwatch. Bye, guys.
Raid! Thank you for the raid, staff. I'll shout you out after this round is over. Yeah. They come with affection and trebuchets, but mostly bananas. Thank you for the follow, Bushido.